Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to do a tag video. I have not done a tag video for a while, and I saw this one going around and I thought it was a ton of fun. So this is the Plan With Me tag, and I've seen this on a couple people's channels. The first one I saw was on Paper Fairy, so I will leave her video down below along with the original creator, which is What's My Page Again, and I will leave hers down below too. But this is kind of focuses around planning, which I am a huge planner. I love my paper planner. I live and die by it. If I didn't have it, I would not know what even day it is. I like to see things in front of me. I have to write things out, so it helps me remember things. If I do it all digitally, I forget constantly. I've tried. It doesn't work for me. So I need to have the physical pages in front of me and sit and write it out. I love spending time doing that. And let me show you what planner I'm currently using. I've gone through quite a few different paper planners over the years, and the one that I'm currently really loving, I used it last year and I'm using it this year as well, and I've already purchased my one for next year. So I'm kind of really dedicated to this brand as of right now. I don't know how long I'll stay dedicated to it, but for now it's really working for me. And that is the Simplified Planner from Emily Lay. This is my 2018 one. And I just love it. It's really big and thick. This is a daily planner. So each page has its own, or each day has its own page, and then weekends are usually together on one page. And I've just loved it. It's really worked out well for me. It keeps me organized, and I like that it has the times written out so I can write my appointments in at the right times and kind of plan my time that way. And I'm really starting to look at block scheduling maybe for next year to see if that can help me be a little bit more productive. We'll see. I'm still kind of working on that. But I did already order and receive my 2019 Simplified Planner, and look how beautiful. It does have gold foil on it. I hope it's catching on the lights. I can't really tell from here, but it does have some gold foil on here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful floral. And I love them. I love her stuff. I love her aesthetic. I will leave links to her planners down below if you guys are interested, but she has daily planners and weekly planners as well. The daily one has just really worked out for me, so that's what I'm going to be continuing on with. But as of right now, this is my favorite. So let's go on with the questions for the tag. I am going to be reading them off of the video here, but the first one is Payday, a book you would buy right now if cost doesn't matter. I would probably get another set of Harry Potter books. I really want the books that have the spine that looks like Hogwarts, that has Hogwarts on the spines across the whole thing. I really love those so much, and they would literally just be a display for me. And I love them. If money wasn't a thing, I would buy that. Number 2 is Pay a Bill, a book you would get rid of right now. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a book, you guys. I talked about this recently, and I'm going to get rid of Faithless by Karen Slaughter. Not because I don't want to read it. I do. But this is, I think, book number 5 in her Grant County series. I believe that's what number this is. But I did talk about this recently and thought about, I said I considered unhauling this just because it's kind of a random edition. It's a hardback. I really like the hardback, but I have had some comments lately, and one in particular really made me go, okay, I'm just going to get rid of it, because I did have one of my subscribers say, she has been collecting Karen Slaughter's hardcovers as well, but none of them match. They're all different sizes. They're all different editions. There's just not like a good matching hardcover set of her books. And that made me go, okay, that helps, because if I'm going to collect a series of something, I want them all to match. So I think I'm going to start getting the paperbacks of her series. I do want to collect them all. I do want to get them all eventually. I just have to decide, do I want to get like the American or the UK ones are really pretty too. So I'm kind of indecisive about what I'm going to start collecting, but I will start collecting something that all matches, at least the series. If the standalones don't match, whatever, it's fine. But if I can't find a hardcover series that matches for her series books, then I'm not going to hang on to this one. It was only $1 anyway, so I'm not really too upset about it, but I'm going to go ahead and unhaul this one. Question 3 is Doctor Appointment, a book that makes you feel better when you are down. And that's always going to be Harry Potter for me. Harry Potter is like home for me. And every time I read one of the books, it just makes me feel good. It makes me happy. And I just love it. And I'm holding up Prisoner of Azkaban right now because I am currently doing my first reread of the entire series. I'm reading them with my daughter, Kaylin. We're about to start book number 4 actually this week, which is exciting. But upon my reread, this has been my favorite, which was a surprise to me. I never would have thought that Prisoner of Azkaban would be my favorite one. I thought maybe the first one would be, but I loved this, and reading this one was just so much fun. Question number 4 is a meeting, and that's a book or a book series that you felt obligated to read because of all the hype. And for me, that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And I read this pretty early on when I started my BookTube channel because I had just seen it going around so much. Like everybody was talking about it. So I felt like I need to read this. Apparently I'm really missing out. And I love it. I love this series. I am definitely not, I haven't read the entire thing yet. I have only read up to book 4, I think, plus the novellas. And so I definitely need to play some catch up with this one because the final book just came out last month. But I really enjoy this. This is a young adult fantasy following an assassin, and she goes on, you know, certain things that needs to happen to save her own life, and a lot of political intrigue, a lot of kind of love triangle type things. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I really love it. So for me, it lived up to the hype. Question number 5 is Lunch Date, a book or a series that you fell in love with after it was recommended by a friend. And this one might seem weird that it was a recommendation to me because it's definitely a book I've heard of before. Everybody has heard about this book, but I hadn't read it. I was never required to read it in school, and I never picked it up. And my mom was bugging me and bugging me and bugging me and saying, Sarah, you've got to read this. You've got to read this. You have to read this sometime in your lifetime. And I was like, okay. And then I finally picked it up, and it is now one of my favorite books of all time. And that's To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I'm actually pretty upset that I wasn't required to read this in school. I felt like the school system did me a disservice by not making me read this in school because I missed out on all those years of having this in my brain, and it's there now, and I'm very grateful. Again, it's one of my favorite books of all time. It's right underneath Harry Potter for me. Like, nothing will ever beat Harry Potter, but if anything could, it would be this one. It's so important. It is so beautiful, and just, I loved it so much, and I really want to reread this because I read it a couple years ago. So I think I'm going to need to reread it here soon, but love it so much. Question 6 is work/school week, and what is a book that was hard for you to get through? And this is actually my most recent finish. I just finished this book, but that's The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. It wasn't hard for me to get through because of the book itself. I actually really enjoyed the book. I gave it 4 stars. It was hard for me to get through because when I first started reading this, I had checked it out from the library. It was when it was brand new, and I didn't have enough time to read the whole thing before my library expire came up, and I couldn't renew it because there was always a line of people behind me to get it. And if I jumped back in line, I was going to be waiting at least 100 people deep. And, you know, there was no point. So I think I got almost 100 pages into this before I had to take it back the first time. And I couldn't get a hold of it again. Like, nobody ever had it immediately available. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it or not. And then I very graciously had one of my subscribers offer to send me her copy because she had read it. And she said, I'm not planning to hang on to it. If you want my copy, I can send it. And I was like, thank you so much. So I got it from her, and it took me a while to pick it back up and to read it. So I did start over from the beginning when I picked it up, and it was just, I don't know, it was taking me so long to read it, even though I was enjoying what I was reading. And I don't know what it is about it, to be honest with you, but I ended up finishing it on audiobook. So the audiobook is great, but it did help me kind of get through it a little bit faster. And I really don't know what it is because I really enjoyed it. Her writing was good, and the story was really good. It was pretty fast paced. I don't know what it was, that it was just hard for me to sit down and concentrate on it for whatever reason. So once I picked up the audiobook, I flew through it really quickly. But yeah, so even though I gave it a 4 stars and it was a book I really enjoyed, it was still hard for me to just finally, you know, start to finish the book. Question 7 is Gym Day, a book that gets your heart pumping because it was such a page turner. You by Caroline Kepnes. This is one of my favorites. This is probably in my top 5 of all-time favorite books. I love this book so much. I'm actually planning a reread soon. I'm going to listen to the audiobook here soon. But this one follows Joe, who is a stalker, and you see him stalking this girl that comes into the bookstore he's working for. Her name is Beck, and he becomes immediately obsessed with her. And the unique thing about this is that this is told from Joe's perspective. So you are inside Joe's head, and you are seeing him rationalize everything he's doing, and you are right there along with him, rationalizing everything he's doing, even though he's crazy, and you know that. But being told from this perspective was so unique, and I loved it so much. Joe is one of my favorite characters of all time. I love him, and I shouldn't because he's awful, but I love him. It's so crazy the way that this book made me feel about a stalker. He's a stalker. He's not okay. But yeah, so this one was definitely a page turner. I think I read this in 2 days. Very easy. I mean, it's not a super long book, but I could not put it down, and I did not want to. And I'm excited to reread it by listening to the audiobook because I've heard the audiobook is very, very good. But yeah, and this has also been turned into a TV show that is on Lifetime. I have watched the first season, loved it. I'm planning a video on that soon. And yeah, oh, so good. So good. Question number 8 is Date Night, and that is a book that features your favorite romantic couple, Feyre and Reese. I don't know if they're my all-time favorite, but when this question came up, they were the first ones that popped into my mind. And this book in particular, this book. I think we all know about chapter 55. Question 9 is Vacation, a book or series that you would binge if you had all the time in the world. That would be the Kiss of Deception trilogy, which I believe is called the Remnant Chronicles, but the first one is called Kiss of Deception. I have the entire trilogy, and I really want to read this whole thing back to back, just one right after the other. And I really need to do that. But this has been on my mind lately. It's kind of standing out to me when I look at my bookshelves. Just this whole trilogy has been standing out to me, and I've just heard nothing but good things about it. And one of these days I will actually binge read this trilogy. It will happen. Question number 10 is To-Do List, a book or series that you have been meaning to read, but for some reason you just keep putting it off. For me, that's going to be Origin by Dan Brown. I pre-ordered this when it came out, and it's been out for a while, and it's book number 5 in the Robert Langdon series, and that's the series of the Da Vinci Code and, all that. This is book number 5, and it came out recently. So I really, really enjoyed all the books in this series. Every single time I read one, I really enjoy it. And Angels and Demons is actually my favorite of the series, and that's one of my favorite books. I just love it so much. And this one, I'm ready to read it. I just haven't, and I don't know why. It is a big book. Maybe that's kind of putting me off a little bit. But yeah, I know when I pick it up, I'm going to enjoy it, and it's going to be a good ride, and it's going to be fun. So I just haven't done it yet. All right, guys, that is it for the Plan With Me book tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you guys are planners like me. Do you have a favorite planner that you use? Do you do everything digitally? What's your process for all that stuff? If you're a planner person and you have a booktube channel and you want to do this tag, consider yourself tagged, and I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you again soon. Bye.